Hi, welcome back to yet another episode of the Alocasia series or the Alocasia Diaries. By the way, which one you prefer, diaries or series? Drop it down below in the comments. I adore this plant, and I'm shocked that this one has been doing so well. It's been out here for 4 or 5 months, and it hasn't given me any major leaf. I see there's one growing in here, like right there. It's still very new. Um, I might be wrong. I may have had a new leaf. This is the biggest leaf so far. But what have happened before with previous plants is they get yellow or they rot. It's quite sensitive. And being this is that is in a species and is what you find in nature, like naturally, it tends to be a little more tricky. But to be honest, because hybrids tend to be more resilient than the actual species. Maharani is a blend of this plant and the black velvet. And Maharanis, for me, the only place that are growing without an issue is in terrariums. It's not out here. I even had one that was here for months with a single leaf. I moved it to that other table when I had the alocasias there, getting ready for all these repots, and that's when that leaf decided to die down. But I'm gonna put right here now in the, because I don't have a Maharani to do. I'm gonna show you right now a video of that corm or that plant that still have like viable roots, and I was able to clean it up out of the pot where it was. I have possibly another couple of corms that came out of that pot where it was, and I propped that into my propagation box. So now let's move to this. I do see perlite in here, so that's a good thing. Let me get my bucket to dump material. So at least this tells me that it's not going to be in that fibrous mix of cocoa, coir, and adhesive. See, like the amount of perlite is here. This is great because with a couple of taps, just falls off. Now I can see a corm right there. But as you can see, because it was very on the top of the surface, it has created a lot of husk around it. So I'm gonna clean that up in a minute and put them in the preparation box. So this is a beautiful corn. Also like just popped off. This one was also really close to the surface. It's very dry. To the size of this corn. There are good corms in here. Now I'm not sure because I haven't dealt with a plant this size of the mellow in a while. But if you've seen the previous episodes, I did a couple of other alocasias, and their root systems were a lot wider than this. Some of them are a little mushy. Because even that this mix is moist, it's not wet, but you see there's some mushy roots, so it's good that we're doing this repot. Another corm. And I have a few. I'm gonna show you in a second of a few that I have grown from corm, and they've been around here waiting to be repotted. I'm gonna do all the small ones in a different episode. Alright, so before we continue with that video, this one is probably a little over a month before. I did this on early July. This was one of those that was decaying and it was getting spots on the leaves and it was looking not so good. So I did this repot and no drainage and with the leca in the bottom and the sphagnum moss on top. So it's been since almost 2 months. We're like maybe like a 3-day show of 2 months since this repot. And this one lost those 2 leaves and it has a small little leaf, and it's still there, but I just wanted to show a little bit of this repot that I was doing here, because it doesn't have any audio, so I don't know exactly what I was saying. Like I mentioned on a video before, things just come to mind as I'm doing the repots and not so much later on. But this was the other, let's say, big mellow that I had. As you see, it's a little bigger than the smaller ones, because this was not one of those that I have growing from corms. But at the time of the repot, it was just already like not looking very happy, and it ended up losing those two leaves. But now it has grown just a little small leaf, but it's still there. So I will keep it there, and I will show you later on the how it's growing or how it's progressing, or if it dies. So let's go back to the other one. Another corm, and these are good sized corms. I'll also will put updates on those corms as new Alocasias chapters come into the channel. Another corm, another corm. Wow, she's prolific. You see that there's nothing more terrifying to me when I hear that snapping sound. That sounds like root snapping, especially when there's some of them that are like mush in here. Because the last thing you want to do is to snap a healthy root when they are so scarce. All right, so I see the meshes here, but I'm gonna need a little more visual aid. So to remove the rest of it, I'm just gonna rinse it off, because I see the two corks right there. You can see them. And again, the problem is not the mesh itself, is that what is encapsulating and isolating, especially from the new media, where it's gonna go. So let me get this rinse off. All right, so that was a little different, because if you can see, there are no meshes. You can see that there was some sort of a plug, so I believe that the plug was just made of the peat moss with adhesive, and once we rinse it off, it all came out. Otherwise, there will be like a remnants of the mesh or anything, but there's nothing left there. There was also like a big chunk of husk from one of the corms that had grown there. So just by a small pull, you can tell if there's any mushing, but there is not. So whatever was mush, it already came off. Considering the size of the corms that we've been getting out of it, I believe all the corms are out. And now we can place this plant. And I want to leave it like, I'm going to leave them together. There's no point of separating them. With all the corms that we have, it's guaranteed. I want this plant to keep thriving as it is. But considering that this one tends to be a little more, the roots are a little more sensitive, I'm not going to put it in no drainage, but I'm not going to give it a lot of drainage that it will dry out. So I'm going to use this spot. So first I'm going to add the fast food, which is their warm castings, especially considering that this mix doesn't have a lot of biodegradable mix in the mix. A little bit of slow release and systemic. I can put them here a little bit more apart. I possibly, I don't know, I want to maybe add one of those little ones that I have around the garden to fill up this pot and make it more bushy all together. I also want to aim the main leaves, towards the front, so I don't have to be rotating the pot. Let me put my powder. mycorrhiza. So before I finish it up, I'm gonna get a couple of those little ones that I have around there to put in here. So I noticed that the last part of the Melo repot was shut down because my phone ran out of battery. Not battery, memory. So let me show you how that ended up looking. So I put a couple of the small ones that I had from the prop box here. This one that has like a little one little leaf, and I added a little bit of a support here because like they're very top heavy right now for the amount of roots. If you see, if we saw the amount of roots that we had was very small for the plant, and these leaves are quite heavy. So I just want to add a little extra support without disturbing the new leaf that is growing right in between. All right. So this I know for sure that it would have not worked in the chunky mix because being so chunky, it doesn't provide as much stability in the foundation for the plant to stand alone. So there it is. If I later on when I edit it, if I forgot to mention something, I will add it on the edit. And but this is what I've done with my mellows. I wanted to add a little more of make a little more of a full pot for a display. And if you remember this big corm that was on here, I wanted to add a little bit of a mix to it so it has more moisture so it continues developing because it looks like it's about to sprout a new leaf. So that's all that it is for this video right now. Thank you so much for sticking around. Please let me know in the comments down below if there's anything that you'd like me to address, any comments, critics, or more than anything your experience with this plant. I'll take anything you have. Don't forget to share and please subscribe. Thank you again. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.